Toyota. You probably think reliability. And you're not wrong. But what if I told you the world's biggest car company owes its success to a lucky name change and a philosophy born from nearly going bankrupt? For 5 straight years, Toyota has held the title of the world's largest automaker, a quiet titan in a very loud industry. This isn't just a story about cars. It's the story of how a small loom company quietly and methodically conquered the automotive world. The loom and the dream. Our story doesn't start with a car, but with a machine for weaving fabric. Back in 1918, a brilliant Japanese inventor named Sakichi Toyoda started the Toyota Spinning and Weaving Company. His masterpiece was the world's first automatic loom, a revolutionary device he invented for a simple reason: to make his mother's work easier. But this loom was special. It was designed to automatically stop if a single thread broke, which prevented it from making flawed fabric. This one brilliant idea, designing a machine to stop and call for help when there's a problem, would become the foundation for everything Toyota does. But Sakichi's vision didn't stop at textiles. His son, Kiichiro Toyoda, was fascinated by the booming car industry in the West. In 1929, Kiichiro traveled to Europe and the US, getting a first-hand look at Ford and Chevrolet's production lines. That same year, a British company bought the patent for his father's automatic loom. Sakichi gave the money to Kiichiro with a single mission: use it to build Japan's car industry. And that's exactly what he did. In 1933, the Automotive Production Division was born inside the family's loom factory. A year later, they built their first engine, and by 1935, their first car, the Model A1. And just like that, the DNA of a future car empire was formed. Not in a garage, but in a textile mill. A name change and a war. In 1937, the car division officially spun off into its own company, but it wasn't called Toyota. Kiichiro decided to change the name to Toyota. The reason was subtle but brilliant. In Japanese script, Toyota takes 8 brush strokes to write, and 8 is a lucky number in East Asian culture. It was a small tweak for good fortune, but it set the stage for a company that would learn to make its own luck. Those early years were anything but easy. During World War II, the company was forced into producing trucks for the Japanese military. After the war, with Japan's economy in ruins, Toyota was on the verge of collapse, facing massive shortages. The company barely survived, resuming production with the Model SA in 1947. That near-death experience became their crucible. It forced them to rethink everything about how a car was made. They couldn't afford huge warehouses and wasteful processes like their American competitors. They had to find a new, better way to build cars. The secret philosophy of production. What rose from the ashes of that crisis would change manufacturing forever. It's called the Toyota Production System, or TPS. It was born out of pure necessity and perfected by engineers like Taiichi Ohno, who got his inspiration from American supermarkets and how they only restocked what customers had just bought. This was the exact opposite of the mass production model, which built mountains of cars and parts, whether they were needed or not. The Toyota production system is built on 2 main pillars. The first is Jidoka, a concept that goes right back to Sakichi Toyoda's original loom. It loosely translates to automation with a human touch. It means that if a problem pops up on the production line, the line stops. Any worker can pull a cord, called an andon cord, to halt everything, making sure a defect is never passed on. This makes quality control part of the process itself, not a final exam. The second pillar is just in time. This means making only what is needed, when it is needed, and in the amount needed. Instead of pushing tons of parts through the factory, the system pulls them through based on real customer demand. This gets rid of the massive costs of storage and waste that crippled other car makers. Underpinning all of this is a mindset called Kaizen, which simply means continuous improvement. Kaizen isn't about giant disruptive changes. It's the belief that small incremental improvements made every single day by every single employee, from the CEO to the factory floor, will lead to incredible results over time. This trio of Jidoka, just-in-time, and Kaizen was Toyota's secret weapon. It was a system engineered for efficiency, quality, and unstoppable progress. Conquering America through failure. In 1957, Toyota set its sights on the biggest car market in the world, the United States, and their first attempt, the Toyopet Crown, was a total flop. The car was underpowered, overpriced, and totally wrong for American highways. By 1961, Toyota pulled it from the market. Now, most companies would have packed their bags and gone home. But this is Toyota. For them, failure isn't an ending. It's just a problem that needs a Kaizen solution. So they learned. They adapted. While the Toyopet was failing, another Toyota vehicle, the Land Cruiser, was quietly earning a reputation as an indestructible off-road beast. Then, in 1965, came the Corona, a car designed specifically with American drivers in mind, and it tripled their sales. But the real game-changer arrived in 1966, the Toyota Corolla. The Corolla was a masterpiece of understanding the market. It was small, affordable, incredibly reliable, and sipped fuel. It was everything the giant gas-guzzling American cars of the era weren't. And then, the 1970s oil crisis hit. Gas prices went through the roof, and suddenly, everyone wanted a Toyota. By 1974, the Corolla was the best-selling car in the world. A year later, Toyota blew past Volkswagen to become the #1 import brand in the US. The hits kept coming with models like the Camry, which took over the midsize sedan market. By 1986, Toyota became the first import automaker to sell over 1 million vehicles in the US in a single year. They hadn't just cracked the American market, they had started to rewrite the rules. Building a global empire with America unlocked, Toyota went global, opening its first overseas plant in Brazil in 1959 and expanding across Europe and Asia. They were smart about it too, adapting their cars for local tastes, like creating the Vios model specifically for Asian markets. But their biggest gamble was still ahead. In the 1980s, Toyota's chairman, Eiji Toyoda, laid down a challenge that sounded impossible. Build a car that was better than the world's best luxury cars from brands like Mercedes-Benz and BMW. This top-secret mission, codenamed F1, or Flagship One, was unbelievably audacious. And to sell this car, they knew they couldn't just slap a Toyota logo on it. This needed a new identity, one that screamed luxury and perfection from day one. In 1989, they launched Lexus. Its first car, the LS 400, didn't just compete, it blew the industry away. It was quieter, more refined, and engineered with a fanatical attention to detail that was unheard of. It immediately set a new benchmark for luxury and, most importantly, reliability. Lexus quickly became the best-selling luxury import brand in the US, proving Toyota's philosophy of quality could win at any price. The hybrid revolution and beyond. By the late 90s, Toyota was a global powerhouse. But you'd think they'd be ready to coast, right? Not a chance. While every other car company was obsessed with horsepower, Toyota was quietly placing a huge bet on a technology many people thought was a joke, a mass-produced hybrid car. In 1997, out came the Prius in Japan. It looked weird. The tech was radical. People were skeptical. But Toyota wasn't just guessing. They were playing the long game, and they had just seen the future. The Prius became a cultural icon, a symbol of being environmentally conscious, and it gave Toyota a decade-long head start in hybrid technology that its competitors are still struggling to overcome. That long-term vision is the Toyota playbook. While others chase quarterly profits, Toyota plays chess, focusing on sustainable growth and bulletproof quality. It's a strategy that has kept them on top. By 2024, the company held its position as the world's largest automaker, with electrified vehicles led by its pioneering hybrids, making up over 40% of its sales. Today, they continue to pour money into the future, from electric and hydrogen fuel cell vehicles to robotics and beyond. So, what's the most mind-blowing part of Toyota's story to you? The relentless philosophy of improvement, or their superpower of turning epic failures into legendary wins? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this story of how a humble loom maker took over the world, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss our next video. Toyota's takeover of the car world wasn't loud or flashy. It was a quiet, methodical march fueled by a powerful set of ideas. That lucky name change was just a footnote. The real secret sauce was a philosophy born from a simple loom. Build quality into the process. Empower every single person to fix problems. Never stop improving. And always, always respect the customer. From nearly going bust after the war to the revolutionary Corolla and the game-changing Prius, Toyota's journey has been guided by this Toyota way. That's how a small division of a textile company systematically, relentlessly, and quietly became the undisputed king of the automotive world.